Holy snakies. Where'd all my stuff go? Lucille, she is empty. What is happening? Hey y'all, welcome to the Ginger Walkabout. So, yeah, it's been a minute. I apologize to all my faithful subscribers that it has in fact been a minute since I posted a video. I've been busy, y'all. A lot going on. So, when I last left you, I was headed into Alabama. Great time in Alabama. Get down there, see all the civil rights things. I went to Birmingham, Selma, Montgomery, all the things. And I made my way down to Tallahassee, and then down to the Florida Gulf Coast. So, a couple things. The state parks in Florida, everybody talks about how fantastic they are, because they are. So, right on the beach, lovely. I stayed in a lot of campsites, a lot of parks with full hookups. I was just like, it was getting cold and I was just ready to not be messing with Walmarts. And, you know, I mean, there's just something nice about pulling in to a campground, hooking up, having all the things and just being done with it. So it's not the cheapest way to go, but, yeah, I spent a couple weeks basically just hopping park to park, spending, 2 nights in each. And then I was in Jackson, Mississippi for Christmas. Shout out to my friend Jason and the whole Jeffries clan who took me in. That's a good tip. Even if you live on the road, even if you're a giant introvert like me, I would suggest you try to find some places with friends and family to be for the holidays. I'm sitting in a strange RV park or a Walmart parking lot on Christmas. I don't know. It just doesn't sound all that great. So, then I've now made my way into Texas. So, I own a rent house in North Texas that I had never seen. Long story. My tenant is my best friend from college. So I get to, just stay here when I'm here. But as any homeowner knows, especially if you have a rental property, there's some things that are going to need the attention of the owner. And I'm the owner. So I'm going to be here. I've already been here a couple weeks. I'm going to be here a few more weeks. So one of the other reasons that I'm here at my rent house, other than to take care of the house, is Lucille. Lucille, I'm coming up on 6 months full time. Lucille, a few things have gotten broken and I want to get them fixed while she's still under warranty, right? So, first, the Remy shade in the front window, there's like strings that hold it all together, and the tension, they have disintegrated. They have come attached, and that thing is just flopping all over the place. So, order a new Remy shade. And then, thank God I was headed here. Like, literally, I had to work a whole weekend, and so I just went to a state park in Louisiana, and on my last day, I was dumping tanks, and, I've had the problem with the black tank sensor, so I rinse it real good with the Sani flush, and I close the valve and let it fill up a little bit, and then, open it again, and then, lather, rinse, repeat. And on my very last rinse, went to pull the handle to dump the black tank, and nothing. So somehow the handle has become detached from the gate valve that dumps the black tank. So I can't dump my black tank. And of course it's full. Now that's a bad news, good news situation. The tank is full, but it's full of mostly fresh water. So obviously that's got to get fixed before I get on the road. So Lucille has been to see the dealer. Parts have been ordered 2 weeks to get the parts. And then hopefully they'll be able to just, fix those 2 things and I will be road ready once again. So if you're wondering why my van is empty of all my personal possessions, Look, even the overhead shelf, every last thing that's not nailed down is removed from the van. And that is because I am, I'm cleaning her, right? Like, and this is a good thing for you full-timers. If you have a place where you can go, I'd say every 6 months, but certainly once a year. And you can just unload every daggum thing. And it is a great opportunity. I'm going to clean this girl within an inch of her life. And then I'm going to go through everything that was in the van. And I'm going to purge what I don't need. For example, I had four skillets. Like, how much cooking am I doing? But for this video, I think what we should talk about is some people have asked me what I like about the Travato and what I don't like about the Travato. So let's do that. So Scott over at Go Small Live Large just did a video because he just hit his 1 year of owning his Travato. And so I'm going to do some things. I'm going to be a little more nitpicky. A little more nitpicky. All right. So let's start here in the front. Ooh, new steering wheel cover, y'all. And I'm buying new seat covers. They're getting here. So, the front cab. What I love about the Travato, I love driving this thing, y'all. I absolutely love it. But, it would be nice if it had a few more cab conveniences. Like, this is a work van. So, it would be nice if the heat and AC had separate zones and you could just set the temperature and call it a day. It would be nice if the instrument panel was digital instead of the old dials. But other than that, like, I got no complaints again about the passenger or the van part, and driving. The seat is just fine for me as far as being able to adjust and height. The steering wheel, everyone, of course, wishes it tilted. It only telescopes. But I don't have a problem with that. It would be nice if there was an armrest on the other side of the captain's chair, but, and not the end of the world. So, as far as the van itself, I've been very pleased. She is an absolute joy to drive. The dinette. So, I don't know. I don't have very strong opinions about the dinette because I never sit in it. It's basically storage for me. The underneath bit is certainly fine for whiskey. I like that I have the locking storage compartment to keep valuable papers and whatnot in. So that works. And it works perfectly well for me to turn the seat around so that I can pull the TV down and work. So no complaints there. I love my awning windows. Those are double paned acrylic awning windows. So far I've not scratched them. I like the cassette blinds. They're not insulated though. So that's, that's kind of a toss up. But I have not had any problems with the cassette blinds. Now the screens, if there is any bit of wind or if the window is open and I close the van door, thereby, creating suction, it just pulls these screens right out of the side. And like a few times I yelled at the dog thinking that he was sticking his nose through them. And no, it was just the screens come out of the sides. And no one has come up with a solution for that yet. So I don't particularly like that. I think the table is a little too big. There's not much space to get between there. And a lot of people modify their tables, and I get that because you really got to do a shuffle, to get between the table and the captain's chairs to get up into the cab. So not my favorite thing, but it's a good work surface. Speaking of surface, I would prefer that it would be, solid surface. This is just laminated wood. We've talked about the bench. It's dumb. I hate it. I hate that it blocks my door and my view and getting in and out. Again, that's not much space to get in and out the van, right? So I wish this thing could go away. I know why it's there. A, it's part of the puzzle bed. B, the inverter lives in it. Fair. That's fine. Yeah, Winnebago really needs to come up with some kind of stock curtain that comes with it that goes between the cab and the rest of the van. The galley. I don't really have any issues with my galley. I think it's a good size. I think it's got good storage. I love the flip up extension. That is super helpful. You know, everyone complained that they wanted a window in the galley. I never open the blinds on it. I just have them open now, for light, but I never open that. I would actually probably prefer that there not be a window there. And that so you could put things on that wall that are more, useful. So maybe, you know, some more racks, something like that. But yeah, all the storage is good. That all is fine and great and dandy. You know, I love the big freezer and refrigerator. That is key. I mean, and let's face it, I don't even fill it, but I still love having it. So I really am happy, to have the bigger fridge than like what's in, say, the K model. The hanging, whatever. Look, y'all, Winnebago just needs to put shelves in here. Quit making all of us do it. Put some stinking shelves in there and quit calling it a wardrobe. Nobody's hanging nothing. Bathroom. I like the bathroom still. I mean, I still think it's a little bigger than I need because I haven't really showered in it. So I kind of, if I was designing it, I'd go smaller wet bath, more storage in the van. But yeah, and like the sink, I never use the sink. I never use the shower. I need to just cap the shower thing so that I can get it out of my way. Now, these doors, these so-called dry storages, nothing work. These do not work. That's not going to keep anything dry. I can barely keep it closed. So Winnebago needs to work on that. The fact that there is exactly one mirror in the entire rig and you got to like climb in and get around and that's annoying. I don't know, mirror the refrigerator or something. That little storage up there is greatness. That holds all the things. And Winnebago, put a towel rack in for us so we don't have to mess with it. Just right there. It's where everyone puts one. Works great. So yeah, the bed, I like the bed. I find it very comfortable. I don't find the height a big deal. You know, I mean, it could be a little more comfortable, but that's okay. I don't mind. And then overhead storage, again, tons of storage up there, down there. So all that I like. So let's talk about a couple things I don't like. So obviously the shower drain, as I have said before, was it take your child to work day when this thing got designed. And that's an insult to children. Because as you can see, the hole is up here. I don't know if y'all can tell. But then there's this big area that just holds water until it gets up to there. It's just dumb. I mean, seriously. Now, I've heard that they're fixing it. But yeah, it's just, wow, kinds of dumb. The other thing that annoys me is, okay, so the shower drain is in the front right corner of the bathroom. The sink drain is in the back left corner, as we're facing it, of the sink. So you can have your shower drain working good, or you can have your sink drain working good. Unless you are 100%, 1,000 times perfectly level, one of them is going to be pooling water. So that's kind of dumb. Like, put the drains, you know, put the sink drain up here or move the shower drain towards, I don't know. But, you know, one way or another, you've got standing water because the drains are in two different, you know, locations on the plane. So that's really quite annoying. The fact that all the electrical is on the underside of the cabinet in the dinette is done. That just leads to all your cables and things hanging down in front of your window. So what I do when I got my stuff in here is I plug in a power strip up there, and then I have to run the cable all the way down the side of the wall and then onto the seat, and then I plug things in down there. So that's dumb. Like, I know why it's done, because you got all your wiring running through the cabinets. But it's just a really annoying place to have outlets. Like, I would prefer an outlet to be over in that area than to be up under the cabinets. So, a couple other things with the lithium system. So, as I've discussed previously, the inverter, the big inverter, the 3700 watt inverter, she has a significant parasitic draw. So even if you don't have anything running off of it, just having the inverter on will run your batteries down a lot faster than turning it off. The only thing you need the inverter on for is the microwave and the air conditioner and your 110 outlets. So what I have is a little 300 watt inverter that I plug into a cigarette lighter, and then I plug in my computer and my monitor to that, and then I can keep the big inverter off. So I think Winnebago really should build in or provide, or just put it up there in the little media cabinet, a smaller inverter that can just handle, some 110, like a laptop, whatever, charging your phone, whatever you need 110 for. So you don't have to turn on the big inverter and keep it on. So that would be nice, because, once I discovered that, my battery happiness got a lot more significant. And like the insulation, everyone complains about the insulation on the RVs, and the Travato is no exception. There's not a lot of insulation happening. It does get cold. It does get hot. Apparently every year Winnebago improves it, but it could definitely use some work still. So, up the insulation game. But things like the Truma, for the hot water and heat, I love. If I got hookups, I just put that thing on EL2, which is the pure electric, and I just crank it up. People have asked about the propane. So they're like, well, you have the big lithium system. Do you still need propane? Really? Because all you're using the propane for is cooking and heating. I love having the propane still on board. It's way more efficient at heating for the Truma. Like, you could not run that Truma on electric all night on the batteries at any kind of decent temperature. So it's so much more efficient. It's not hard to find. It's cheap. Who doesn't like cooking on a gas stove? And I just like having another energy source in case of emergency, right? For those of you who think just get rid of the LP altogether, I understand the argument, but personally, I like still having it. I guess my biggest issue, one of my biggest issues with the Travato is storage, and specifically outside storage. So a lot of people, literally the only exterior storage on this van is the little tube that you put your sewer hose in, and that can of sewer hose came with it. But you cannot fit the sewer hose in there with any kind of fittings on it, with anything else on it. And that sewer hose, they say, is 10 feet. But because it's the accordion, you can't, you'd have to have two people pulling it to get it to dump. So a lot of people are like, what? I've always just used the blue sewer hose and never had a problem. And I would challenge you that, do you have somebody helping that can hold it in the hole of the dump station? Because I've been in multiple places where it just wouldn't get done if that's all I had. So now I have to have, the big Rhino sewer hose extravaganza that gets the job done, but I have nowhere to store it. I'm literally having it in a bag hanging off the back of the RV, which is oh so attractive. And then all your water hoses that are wet, your, electric cable that's dirty because it's been laying on the ground, all that has to come inside the van. That is not ideal. There has got to be a way to put one little exterior storage bin on this bad boy. All I needed to do is fit real normal size sewer hoses, the electric cable, and 2 water hoses. That's it. That's all I need. I just want those mechanical items that are wet and dirty and smelly to be stored outside the van. That's all I want. So yes, I could put a box on the back, and then it would make the van longer. Don't want the van to be longer. Like being able to put the van in standard parking spaces, especially those ones that got, back up to a fence or some shrubs. Your back end gets longer. You're just knocking down trees. I could put it up on the roof, but I'm not going to climb up on the roof all the time to get those cables out. Anyway, so I'm going to try to come up with a solution to keep them in the van, but get rid of those plastic drawers that were taking up all the space in the garage. So I'm like Scott, like now that I've got everything out of the van and I've got like this big open space back there, I really like it. So yeah, just to wrap up, the big things I like about the Travato, I love driving it. I love the maneuverability. I think it's got everything I need as far as bathroom, galley, bed, workspace, all of that. The things I don't like, the storage is a problem. The fact that, if I go to an RV park or a campground, it's not that big a deal to unhook and drive the van into town to do whatever I need to do, but it's not ideal. I understand. I'm getting a bigger appreciation for the people with the towables. Drop your house and then you still have a reasonably sized vehicle to go run around in that's easy to do that with. I get that. But overall, still super happy with the van. Ready to get the things repaired that need to be repaired, the Rummy Shade, and it'd be awesome to be able to use my toilet again. And then, I'm going to do a few other things. I'm going to tint the windows and whatnot. But then I'm going to get back on the road, hopefully by the end of January, and then be headed west. I might be going to a rally. My first one. We'll see. I'm figuring it out. Anyway, so for those of you who want to know what after 6 months of ownership, what I like, what I don't like, I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, down below. And we'll see you on the road.